This brand completely destroyed their marketing and their content within seconds. But I disagree with the backlash, and I'm going to share it in this video and exactly what we can learn from it when it comes to growing and building our content, our lead generation systems for our own online coaching businesses as well. So let's dive into it. You've probably heard this story already, but the American Eagle brand Swatch got a lot of backlash in terms of doing the jeans, if I'm not mistaken, doing the jeans. And then what was happening is they did a lot of these kind of creatives where it was play on words. It was like Sydney Sweeney has great jeans, more supposed to be her, attractive physique, right? Or attractive like physique. And the reason they got a lot of backlash is because a lot of the people disagreed with like the movement of, you're supposed to have imperfect body for men, for women. You're supposed to have some people that are bigger, some people that are like big bones, and all of these stuff, right? This is why a lot of people disagreed with this creative, and it got a lot of backlash because it was like just using like supermodels, super attractive people for their marketing angles and their campaigns. And because of that, I think it did two things in this marketing angle. And I'm going to share both of these. One thing it did is it really differentiated people from like one type of audience to another. So certain people believed deeply that you should work hard to try and look better. You should like, and they didn't take it so seriously in the sense of like this is clearly a model and it's not the end of the world if I don't look exactly like that. But I really like the marketing, or I really like the jeans. I was thinking about buying new jeans. So I should probably look into it. It's quite an attractive, quite an inspirational marketing angle or campaign. Let me go out and kind of grab them because it gives me a bit of like, this is what I've read into, right? In terms of the buying behavior. It gives me a bit of nostalgia, like nostalgia back in like the 1980s, 1970s in the US. All the campaign angles were like this. It was, you look super attractive, like look amazing on the models, and then this is what I'm trying to aspire to get to. This was one angle of it. The other type of people, it was like this is so wrong. There should be different types of models on these covers, on these billboards, and because of that, I'll never buy the jeans. But I did one thing really well, in my opinion, despite the backlash. It split and it differentiated the two types of people super super clearly in terms of content, in terms of marketing, and made it very easy for people to not sit on the fence. There was really nowhere for someone to sit on the fence with this campaign, right? It's either you love the jeans and you want to buy them because it gives you nostalgia, because you like the jeans, you've got more awareness of it, or you hate it and you're never going to buy it. And this is one thing we can all learn as content people for our social media and for our businesses, right? One of the worst things you can do is have people sit on the fence. Like if someone lands on your Instagram channel right now, on your Instagram page, on your TikTok, like I'd much prefer if you're posting on Instagram, by the way, than TikTok. But wherever they land, if they stand on your profile, they fall in your profile, and it's very vanilla. It's very neutral. It's like anyone could technically follow this page, right? Like that's not what we want to do with our content, because then it's like it doesn't really attract these deeper emotions to attract the people we really really want to work with. That's one big thing we want to fix with our content. I'm not saying that you need to swear at people, you need to push people deliberately away. However, if you're selling a fitness coaching offer, which you should be if you're watching this video, if you're selling an online coaching program or fitness coaching program, you should be differentiating people to some extent. You should be making it very clear as to who this page is for. You don't need to say like if you're not fat, don't follow the page. This is not going to work. This is insulting. But what we want to do instead is make it very clear what kind of problems are we solving with this Instagram page, right? What kind of problem are we solving for you landing on the page, and how can we create content that's super specific to solving these problems? This is all I ever do with this YouTube channel, by the way, just as a disclaimer. I talk about 4 topics and I just talk about them like in different ways to try and help you with 4 topics. It's sales, lead generation, AI, and content. This is literally all I ever talk about because those are the things I'm truly good at and I'm truly an expert in, right? Nothing else to talk about on this page. I'll maybe share some personal stories, but the personal stories usually relate back to these 4 pillars. And we should really be doing that with our content. We should really make it super clear what are the problems we're trying to solve, how are we solving them, and why should people trust us with our to to help solve these problems. If you go through your social media, and this is a big thing we can learn from this, because even though technically the billboard and the campaign backfired and it got a lot of people hating on it was also making a lot of money, and it also closed them a lot of deals, and they're currently still running very similar campaigns, right? They wouldn't be running very similar campaigns and billboards and ads and content if it wasn't converting. Like, it'll be ludicrous for people, for this big brand to be spending a lot of money on something that doesn't make money back, right? So there's something clearly working, and we don't need to be so like deliberately offensive. We don't need to push people away and be like, dude, if you're not a man in your 40s and you don't have kids, you can't follow me because I only help busy dads lose 20 kilos, right? But what we do want to do is just be very clear around what problems are we solving and how are we solving these for that type of person. Audit your profile now. Are you genuinely maybe being a bit too vanilla with your content? Are you being deliberately helpful with a specific type of person, with a specific avatar you want to help? The more you can do that, the more you can do that consistently in your content, the easier it will become for you to attract the people you want to work with. Much easier. And you can even copy what we do with our clients and what I do with my own personal brand and what I'm doing on this YouTube channel. For a disclaimer, my personal brand on Instagram, not so much on YouTube because this is still very new to me, but on Instagram, my personal brand's generated £250,000 online just by doing this and just by having this in the back of my head. And it took me a while to learn it. This is why I'm so passionate about it and so trying to get this point across. But one thing that my personal brand did really well, like when I learned this, I started making money, is I just stood for specific things. I just talked about specific things. I had brand pillars that I just talked about. Content, sales, lead generation. In the last 2 years, in the last 18 months rather, it's AI as well. 4, and it's actually a bit too much. But if you're a fitness guy, if you're a fitness coach trying to build your business, what are the things, what are the topics, what are the pillars and buckets that you do want to talk about? As an example, this is very vague. You would want to make it more specific to you. As an example, it might be nutrition, it might be training, it might be mindset, or it might be hormones or hormone optimization. If you are an expert in that area, have 3 or 4. 4's probably a bit too much. I'd maybe have three buckets, and just have your content fall into these buckets, right? And ask yourself, like, am I solving problems within these 3 buckets? If I do nutrition, training, mindset, am I solving problems within nutrition or training or mindset? If maybe I'm not, how can I reword the content? How can I create the content better to be super specific towards that? If you do that, we can learn a lot from these big guys, from these big campaigns, from these big marketing guys, because they spend millions on this. We can just take the money they're spending and recreate it to be specific to us, right? I hope you find this video helpful. I went off on a slightly different tangent. If you do find it helpful, if you do want one-to-one help with auditing your business and if you want to grow, I'll leave a link down below. So what you can do is input a little bit more details about your business. We can sit down on a call if I think I can help you, and I can audit, what you're doing now, what you need to do to grow, and I'll run you through kind of how we can work together on a one-to-one call. I also have a AI live workshop happening soon, so I can help coaches on that call. There's 20 coaches max, so whenever the 20 people apply for that, it'll be capped. It's a free workshop. We'll go through how to use AI to build your content calendar and your content strategy to get clients and fitness clients for your business. If you do want to join that call, that workshop is completely free. If you want to give back on a one-to-one level as well, get a lot of content ideas from that. If you do want to apply for that and you want to join that call completely for free, there'll be a link down below so you can do that. And if you do find this content helpful, if you want to see more, make sure to hit like so I know, and hit subscribe so I'll see you in the next one, and peace.